Hello friends, it's Alina. And in this video, we'll be diving into the 5 things you need to know all about this April 2022 new moon and solar eclipse in the very grounding earth sign of Taurus. We'll dive into why this can be an incredibly lucky time when it comes to relationships, whether it is romantic or platonic. We'll dive into the transit surrounding this new moon, along with ways to align ourselves with its energy. And of course, at the end, I'll offer some custom new moon writing prompts. And for any of y'all who don't know, all of the references that I make to the significance of eclipses, the full moon, can be found in the 2022 Auralign Astrology Planner. It's my creation and it's a normal planner that includes notifications for the top astrological events of 2022, dedicated full and new moon ritual pages, seasonal guides, and a lot more. So if that interests you, we're actually having a spring sale. And with that said, let's dive in. Why is this moon so important? As many of you know, the new moon is seen as the beginning of a brand new lunar cycle, where we see the moon is at its darkest point energetically, where the sun's light isn't being reflected onto it at this time. And as with the saying, as above, so below, we too can feel called to rest and reflect, plan and set intentions for the new cycle ahead. This is why many people do new moon rituals where they sit out and write what they'd like to manifest, create, or work towards in the coming cycle, along with reflecting on what worked and didn't work for them in the previous one. We also see that during this new moon, there will be a solar eclipse. Now, all solar eclipses occur during new moons, and they tend to intensify already present new moon influences, along with welcoming in new opportunities and beginnings. We also see that this new moon and solar eclipse will be in the fixed earth sign of Taurus, this sign of relaxation, patience, and really indulging in the pleasures of material gains and physical activities, physical sensations. So this can look like enjoying exercise, being out and about, and even being a foodie. I actually have a close cousin and a handful of friends who are Tauruses, and literally all of them are my go-to people for finding the best possible restaurants because they love to indulge. We also see that the sign of Taurus is ruled by Venus, the planet of love and relationships. So this new moon will definitely be bringing in energetic support within the realms of finance, obtaining material gain, and relationship building. I also feel called to remind y'all that when I say setting intentions around our finances, I don't necessarily mean focusing on setting goals for how to get rich or buying a lottery ticket. Though you can absolutely do those things, setting intentions within that realm essentially means watering the plant that is your financial wellness. So that might be building upon your financial literacy. That might mean deciding to watch a few videos on budgeting or what exactly a Roth IRA is versus traditional, 401ks and investments. It can look like finally sitting down and creating a budget or getting clear on things, or maybe even reaching out to people who can share information on these things. Next, let's dive into what looks like some pretty lucky transits surrounding this new moon and solar eclipse. First, we see the moon sextiling Mars. Now, a sextile aspect in astrology indicates very easy flowing energy between the astral bodies involved. Very little friction and easy flowing opportunities and ideas when these astral bodies come together. So we see the moon, this planet of our emotions, intuition, our inner world, sextiling with Mars, this planet of high energy and assertiveness, coming together and offering us energetic support when it comes to playfulness, assertiveness, competitiveness, and really confidently expressing our inner world, expressing our needs. This transit is one that can bring a lot of passionate enthusiasm and confidence when it comes to collaborations, expressing our needs, and getting our thoughts out there. Again, this is a transit that offers easy flowing energy within these realms of our lives. Next, we see Venus conjuncting Jupiter. Now, a conjunction in astrology indicates a blended and intensified nature between the astral bodies involved and the energy that they are offering us. Essentially, we're seeing that these planets are working very strongly together and lending more initiative when it comes to being direct within the realms that they impact. So we see Venus, this planet of love and relationships, conjuncting with Jupiter, this planet of optimism and expansion. And when we see a transit like this, it often lends itself to allowing us to enjoy the benefits of good karma, the fruits of our labor, and attracting good energy and good luck towards us. And like I said in the beginning of this video, this is really the core transit during this time, along with the new moon itself, that really offers us a lot of good luck within the realms of our relationships. I like to call this time almost like an astrological Valentine's Day. Now is the time to really enjoy the fruits of your labor, enjoy these relationships that you have built, being out and about, or even coming together and chilling during this new moon time of rest and reflection to have a heart-to-heart and enjoy the easy flowing, frictionless energy when it comes to connection at this time. In our final top transit, we see Venus sextiling Pluto. So again, we see Venus, this planet of love and relationships, sextiling, having this easy flowing, frictionless energy between Pluto, this planet of rebirth and transformation. Now, this is the type of transit that tends to deepen our capacity for love and compassion. If you're single, this is a type of transit that can really facilitate where we tend to see the beginning or intensification of whirlwind romances. You might find yourself or others becoming more absorbed and even almost obsessed with others and wanting to get to know them. For existing relationships, this transit offers a higher capacity for deepening our relationships when it comes to compassion, spirituality, and empathy for one another. So looking at these transits all together, you can really see that there is powerful energetic support when it comes to love, compassion, and collaboration. And for any of you who might be listening to this and who are thinking, you know what, I just want to spend time with myself, I just want to rest, this is a very powerful time for a deeper level of self-empathy as well, as we might be taking this time to reflect on the previous cycle, the previous month or 28 days, and looking forward to the next, reflecting on what worked, what didn't work for us, and offering ourselves compassion, looking at what didn't work in a more constructive way can really bring about beautiful ideas for the new cycle to come. Next, how to align with this energy. As mentioned before, the new moon is really a time for rest and reflection. This cosmic reminder that we see not only in the moon, but also in nature, that the moon has its phases, the earth has its seasons, and so do we. And so taking that time to rest, reflect, and set intentions can be a very powerful time. Or even literally just resting, not setting intentions, not doing any work can actually help us for when we do have our full moon time, when we do have our spring season, our summer time. That can be the time where we can be in action. As mentioned before, if you do decide to set intentions or are interested in a specific area of life to reflect upon, doing so within the realms of our relationships, our material world, our financial world can be a very fruitful and energetically supported area. And an affirmation for this new moon that I offer is empathy flows through me and to me. It's this reminder that we all make mistakes, we all have moments, we all have great moments and low moments, and that is a part of life. And having empathy for ourselves and understanding that we are imperfectly perfect human beings is what deepens our capacity to have empathy for others. And it is when we embody this empathy that we can attract more of it to us. And next, let's dive into these new moon writing prompts. If you have your Auralign Astrology Planner, you can pull it out and flip to this month's new moon ritual page. But if you don't have it, you don't need it. All you'll need will be a pen and paper. I'll go ahead and put up the questions on the screen. When you see them, I invite you to pause the video, unpause, and at the end, we'll come back. Moving into this new lunar cycle, do you have any new intentions or goals? What does the phrase, taking a chance on love, look like to you in relation to romantic or platonic relationships? In what ways have you given yourself patience and empathy in recent weeks? Why or why not? What is your earliest memory of practicing selfless love? All right, that concludes our writing prompts for this Taurus new moon. Be sure to comment down below if anything has come up for you for any of these questions. And now I'm gonna go ahead and answer a few of these questions, maybe one or two, to kind of spark some conversation and just catch up with y'all. So a way that I've given myself a little bit more patience and empathy over the last few weeks was actually having to do with my overall cycle as a woman, you know, the 28-day cycle. So I know that many of y'all might be able to relate, but you know, during my menstrual phase and also the luteal phase, there's 4 phases within our overall 28-day cycle, right? But the luteal phase is right before the menstrual phase. In those 2 areas, for almost 2 weeks, I was feeling really low energy and I had a lot of work to do. And that was around the time last month that I decided not to do a new moon video or meditation. And I usually would have been super hard on myself and forced myself to get through it to my own body's detriment, but my body was really calling for rest. And it was through my giving myself that empathy and that grace that I needed and allowing myself to rest that after I passed those phases and I entered into my follicular phase, there's 4 phases, and I started to have more energy, I felt even more inspired than I had in a very long time in relation to making videos. And I'm so excited. The next video that I put out will likely be about cycle syncing, which is essentially aligning your schedule, your productivity flow, your eating habits even to support and to align with the energetic, you know, cycles of your overall cycle. And I learned so much through doing that. I was able to feel so inspired to plan more videos. And it's kind of like a classic example of how, you know, when you go on vacation or when you take a break, you can come back more energized to be more thorough and inspired in the work that you do. It's one of the reasons why even in the state that I'm in, California, they're talking about having a 4-day work week, because they actually did research into, will people be productive? And they actually found that people are even more productive when they have 4 days to work instead of 5 because of the benefits of rest. All of that to say, it was through that grace that I gave myself that I came back more energized and inspired. I was able to learn and kind of refresh my understanding of nutritionally cycle syncing and seed cycling to support my body in terms of nourishment, nutrients, vitamins, minerals, all the things that I needed to maintain my energy throughout my entire cycle. Because I realized when I was so low, it was partially because I wasn't nourishing myself the way that I should have. If you made it to the end, I invite you to comment 3 heart eye emojis. So it's that emoji face and they have hearts in their eyes, just to communicate, you know, this is a very lucky time in terms of relationships, both romantic and platonic. That connection that we can have with other human beings can be so powerful. And with all of that said, I'll go ahead and leave you with my favorite quote, and that is, be gentle with yourself, because life is about the journey, not the destination. All right, peace.